What if I told you that a single fleeting moment on a crowded train could change two lives forever? Picture this, a guy, just an ordinary stranger, gives up his seat for a woman he's never met. Sounds simple, right? But what if that one small act of kindness wasn't just a polite gesture? What if it was the start of something so unexpected, so life-altering, that it would leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about love, fate, and the connections we make when we least expect them? That's exactly what you're about to dive into today in this story we're calling He Gave Up His Seat for Her on the Train, and Took a Place in Her Heart. Stick with me because by the end of this video, you're going to get the answers to the questions burning in your mind right now. Who were these two strangers? Why did he give up his seat? And what happened next that turned a moment of courtesy into a story that's got people talking all over the internet? Let's get into it, because I promise you, this is one story you won't want to click away from. Now, let me ask you something personal, because I want you to feel like we're sitting down together, maybe over coffee, just talking like old friends. Have you ever had one of those moments in life where something small, maybe a smile from a stranger, a kind word, or even a random act of generosity, made you stop and wonder if there's more to it? Like, maybe the universe is trying to tell you something? That's what this story is all about, and I know you've felt it too, because we're all human, aren't we? We're all out here searching for meaning, for connection, for those little sparks that remind us we're not alone in this big, chaotic world. So, as you watch this, I want you to think about your own life, your own moments that felt like they were straight out of a movie. Because that's what we're diving into today. A real-life moment that feels like it was scripted by fate itself. And I'm going to walk you through every detail, every emotion, every twist, so you can feel like you're right there on that train with them. You're not just watching a story, you're living it with me, and I'm not letting you go until we unravel this mystery together. Let's set the scene. It's a crisp autumn morning in New York City, the kind of day where the air smells like fallen leaves and coffee shops are buzzing with people trying to warm up. The subway is packed, as usual, commuters pressed shoulder to shoulder, headphones in, everyone in their own little world. You know how it is, right? You're just trying to get to work or school, dodging elbows, hoping you don't miss your stop. In the middle of this chaos, there's a guy. Let's call him Ethan for now. He's in his late 20s, dressed in a worn leather jacket, a little scruffy but with kind eyes that seem to notice things other people miss. He's standing in the train car, holding onto the pole, scrolling through his phone, probably checking emails or maybe just pretending to look busy like the rest of us do. Across from him, there's a woman. Let's call her Mia. She's about the same age, juggling a heavy bag, a coffee cup, and a look of quiet exhaustion that says she's got a million things on her mind. The train lurches, someone bumps into her, and you can see the frustration flicker across her face. She's looking for a seat, but every single one is taken. That's when Ethan glances up, locks eyes with her for just a split second, and makes a choice that changes everything. He steps forward, gestures to his seat and says, "Here, take it." Simple words, right? But the way he says it, the way she looks at him, it's like the whole world slows down for a moment. And that, my friends, is where this story begins. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, a guy gave up his seat. Big deal. People do that all the time. But hold on, because this isn't just about a polite gesture. There's something deeper here, something that's got people on platforms like TikTok and X buzzing about this story, racking up views and comments with hashtags like #viralmoment, #lovestory, and #fate. Why? Because what happened after Ethan gave up his seat wasn't just a thank you and a smile. It was the start of a chain of events that would pull these two strangers into each other's lives in ways neither of them could have predicted. And I'm not going to spoil it for you just yet, because I want you to feel the same curiosity, the same anticipation that I felt when I first heard about this. You're here because you want to know what made this moment so special, and I'm going to deliver that answer. But to get there, we need to dig into who Ethan and Mia are, what brought them to that train on that exact morning, and why this one act of kindness sparked something that's got millions of people invested. Let's talk about Ethan for a second. He's not your typical rom-com hero. He's not a CEO with a penthouse apartment or a brooding artist with a mysterious past. He's just a regular guy, someone you might pass on the street without a second glance. He works as a freelance graphic designer, hustling to make ends meet in a city that's as unforgiving as it is vibrant. But there's something about Ethan that makes him stand out, even if he doesn't realize it himself. Maybe it's the way he notices the little things, like the elderly woman struggling with her bags or the kid who drops their toy on the platform. He's the kind of person who does the right thing, not because he's trying to be a hero, but because it's just who he is. And on this particular morning, something's weighing on him. Maybe it's a bad day, maybe it's a fight with a friend, or maybe it's just the grind of life in a city that never slows down. Whatever it is, he's not expecting anything extraordinary to happen when he steps onto that train. He's just trying to get through the day, same as you and me. Now, let's shift to Mia. She's the kind of person who blends into the crowd, but once you notice her, you can't look away. She's got this quiet strength, but there's a vulnerability there too, like she's carrying a weight she doesn't talk about. Mia's a teacher, pouring her heart into her students, but today, she's distracted. Maybe it's a late-night grading papers, maybe it's a personal struggle she's keeping to herself, or maybe it's just the kind of day where everything feels a little heavier than usual. When she steps onto that train, she's not looking for anything other than a moment to catch her breath. She's not expecting a stranger to change her day, let alone her life. But when Ethan offers her his seat, something shifts. It's not just about the seat, it's about the way he looks at her, like he sees her, really sees her, in a way that makes her feel noticed for the first time in a long time. And that moment, that tiny spark, is what sets this story in motion. Here's where I want to connect with you again, because I know you're watching this and thinking about your own life. Have you ever felt like you were just going through the motions, and then something small, a kind word, a shared laugh, a moment of connection, reminded you that life is full of surprises? That's what makes this story so relatable, so human. It's not about grand gestures or Hollywood endings. It's about the little moments that catch you off guard and make you believe in something bigger. And I'm telling you right now, if you stick with me through this video, you're going to see how one small act on a train turned into something that's got people all over the world talking. You're going to laugh, you might even tear up, and you're definitely going to be thinking about this story long after the video ends. So don't you dare click away, because we're just getting started, and I promise you, the answers you're looking for are coming. Let's talk about the atmosphere on that train, because it's more than just a setting. It's practically a character in this story. If you've ever been on a New York subway during rush hour, you know it's a world of its own. The air is thick with the hum of conversations, the screech of the tracks, the rustle of newspapers, and the faint buzz of someone's music leaking through their headphones. It's chaotic, it's overwhelming, and yet, there's this strange sense of unity in it all. Everyone's in it together, navigating the same crowded, unpredictable space. That's what makes Ethan's gesture stand out. In a place where most people are too busy or too tired to notice anyone else, he chooses to notice Mia. And that choice, that tiny ripple, starts to spread in ways that neither of them could have imagined. It's like dropping a pebble into a pond and watching the waves grow bigger and bigger until they touch the shore. That's the kind of story we're telling today. One that starts small but grows into something unforgettable. Now, I want to be real with you for a second. You're here because you love a good story, right? You're drawn to those viral moments, those heartwarming tales that make you believe in love, in kindness, in the magic of everyday life. And I get it, because I'm the same way. That's why I'm so excited to share this with you. This story has everything you're looking for: romance, mystery, and a touch of that feel-good vibe that's trending all over YouTube right now. Search for #heartwarming stories or #viral love, and you'll see what I mean. People are craving stories like this, stories that remind us there's still good in the world. But this one? This one's special. It's not just about what happened on that train. It's about what happened after, when Ethan and Mia's paths kept crossing in ways that felt like more than coincidence. And I know you're dying to know what those moments were, so I'm going to make you a deal. Keep watching, and I'll give you every detail, every twist, every heart-pounding moment that made this story go viral. Let's talk about the themes that make this story resonate. At its core, this is a story about connection. About how two strangers can find themselves tangled up in each other's lives because of one fleeting moment. It's about kindness, not the kind that's performative or expects something in return, but the kind that comes from a genuine place. It's about fate, or maybe serendipity, or whatever you want to call those moments that feel like they were meant to happen. And it's about hope. The kind of hope that makes you believe that even in a world that can feel cold and disconnected, there's still room for something real, something true. These are the things that make this story more than just a cute anecdote. They're the reason people are sharing it, tweeting about it, making TikToks about it with captions like #trainlovestory and #feelgoodmoment. And they're the reason you're going to want to see this through to the end. I know you're probably wondering, okay, what's the big mystery? What's the thing that made this story blow up? And I'm getting there, I promise. But first, I want to paint a picture of what happens right after Ethan gives up his seat. Mia sits down, a little flustered, and says, "Thank you." It's a simple exchange, the kind that happens a million times a day. But then, something unexpected happens. Ethan doesn't just walk away. He lingers, just for a moment, and there's this awkward electric pause where neither of them knows what to say. Maybe it's the way she smiles, or the way he rubs the back of his neck like he's nervous. Whatever it is, it's enough to make them both feel something. A spark, a question, a what if. And then, just as quickly as it started, the moment's gone. The train stops, the doors open, and Mia gets off, disappearing into the crowd. Ethan's left standing there, wondering if he should have said something more, done something different. And that, my friends, is where the real story begins. Because this isn't the last time their paths cross. Oh no, this is just the beginning of a series of moments that will leave you wondering. Was it fate? Was it chance? Or was it something else entirely? Now, I'm going to let you in on a little secret, because I want you to feel like you're part of this journey with me. This story isn't just about Ethan and Mia. It's about all of us. It's about those moments in life when you take a chance, when you step out of your comfort zone, when you let yourself believe that maybe, just maybe, the universe is on your side. And I know you've had those moments too, whether it's a crush you were too shy to talk to, a random encounter that stuck with you, or a choice you made that changed everything. That's why I'm so excited to share this with you, because I know you're going to see yourself in this story. You're going to root for Ethan and Mia, you're going to laugh at their awkward moments, and you're going to be on the edge of your seat waiting to find out what happens next. So here's my promise to you. Keep watching, and I'll give you the full story. The highs, the lows, the twists that'll make your jaw drop. You're not just a viewer, you're part of this, and I'm not letting you go until we get to the heart of this mystery. Let's talk about why this story feels so timely, so relevant, especially for you watching this in 2025. Right now, the world's moving fast. Too fast sometimes. We're all glued to our screens, scrolling through endless posts, chasing the next viral moment. But stories like this? They remind us to slow down, to notice the people around us, to believe in the power of human connection. That's why this story's blowing up on platforms like X, where people are sharing their own #TrainLoveStory moments, or on TikTok, where creators are stitching their reactions with hashtags like #romanticvibes and #life-changing moments. It's trending because it's real, it's raw, and it's exactly what we need right now. A reminder that love, kindness, and serendipity are still out there, waiting for us to notice them. And I know you're feeling it too, because you're still here, still listening, still wondering what's going to happen next. That's the magic of this story, and I'm so excited to share it with you. Okay, let's bring it back to Ethan and Mia for a moment, because I know you're dying to know more. After Mia gets off the train, Ethan's left with this nagging feeling, like he missed something important. He can't shake the image of her face, the way she looked at him when she said thank you. It's not just that she was pretty, though she was. It's something else, something he can't quite put into words. Meanwhile, Mia's walking to her school, her mind racing. She's thinking about the guy on the train, the one who didn't just give up his seat but looked at her like she was more than just another face in the crowd. She's wondering if she should have said something more, maybe asked his name, maybe smiled a little longer. Both of them are caught in this moment, this what if, and neither of them knows that their paths are about to cross again in a way that's going to change everything. But how? Where? And what's the secret that's got everyone talking about this story? Here's where I'm going to leave you hanging, because I know you're hooked, and I'm not going to give away the big reveal just yet. You're going to have to stick with me to find out what happens when Ethan and Mia's worlds collide again. Was it a chance encounter, or was there something bigger at play? Did they find love, or did fate have other plans? I'm not going to lie. This story's got twists you won't see coming, moments that'll make you laugh, and maybe even a few that'll bring a tear to your eye. So if you want to know the truth behind this viral moment, if you want to feel the magic of a story that's capturing hearts all over the world, then keep watching. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's dive into the next part together. Because I promise you, what happens next is going to blow your mind. Alright, you're still here, and I'm so glad you're sticking with me, because this story is about to get even juicier. We left off with Ethan standing on that crowded New York subway, watching Mia disappear into the morning rush, his mind buzzing with a feeling he can't quite name. That moment on the train, that fleeting exchange of a seat and a thank you, has planted a seed, and now it's starting to grow into something neither of them could have predicted. You're probably wondering what happens next, how these two strangers' lives start to intertwine, And what's got people on platforms like TikTok and X tagging this story with hashtag viral love and hashtag fate moments? I'm going to take you deeper into Ethan and Mia's world, give you a peek into their lives, and introduce a few twists that'll keep you glued to this video. But I'm not going to give away the big answers yet. Oh no, we're building the suspense, layering in the mystery, and making sure you're as invested in this as I am. So grab a snack, get comfy, and let's dive back into He gave up his seat for her on the train, and took a place in her heart. Let's start with Ethan, because there's more to this guy than meets the eye. He's not just a random New Yorker who gave up his seat out of politeness. Ethan's life is a bit of a mess right now, if we're being honest. He's been freelancing as a graphic designer for a couple of years, scraping by on gigs that pay just enough to cover his rent in a tiny Brooklyn apartment. He loves his work, creating logos, designing posters, bringing ideas to life, but the hustle is wearing him down. Lately he's been questioning everything. His career, his choices, even whether he's meant to stay in this city that feels like it's chewing him up and spitting him out. The morning of the train incident, he's coming off a rough night. He'd stayed up late arguing with his best friend, Jake, over something stupid. Probably about money or a missed deadline. Jake's the kind of friend who's always been there, but their friendship's been strained lately, and Ethan's carrying that weight when he steps onto the subway. When he sees Mia, struggling with her bag and looking like she's about to lose it, something in him clicks. It's not just about being nice, it's like he sees a chance to do something good, something real, in a world that's been feeling pretty gray. But here's the thing. Ethan's not the type to believe in fate or destiny. He's practical. Maybe even a little cynical. So why can't he stop thinking about the woman who took his seat? Why does he keep replaying that moment, wondering if he should have said something more? That's the first layer of our mystery, and it's only going to get deeper. Now let's shift to Mia, because her story adds a whole new dimension to this tale. Mia's a third-grade teacher at a public school in Manhattan, the kind of teacher who stays late to help a struggling student and spends her own money on classroom supplies. She's got this warmth that draws people in, but if you look closely, you can see the cracks. Mia's been carrying a secret, something she hasn't told anyone, not even her closest friend Sarah, who's always trying to drag her out for drinks or set her up on blind dates. A few months ago, Mia went through a breakup that left her reeling. Not because it was dramatic or messy, but because it was quiet, final, and left her questioning whether she's ever really known what love is. Her ex, David, was a good guy on paper, but something was missing, and when it ended, Mia threw herself into her work to avoid dealing with the emptiness. That morning on the train, she's not just tired from grading papers. She's tired of pretending everything's okay. When Ethan offers her his seat, it's not just a relief for her aching feet. It's a moment of unexpected kindness that cuts through the fog she's been living in. She notices his eyes, the way they seem to hold a story of their own, and for a split second, she feels seen in a way she hasn't in months. But Mia's not the type to chase a moment like that. She's practical too. Maybe even more than Ethan. So when she gets off the train, she tells herself it's nothing. Just a nice guy doing a nice thing. But deep down, she's wondering about him, and that wonder is about to pull her into something she never saw coming. Here's where things start to get interesting, because this story isn't just about Ethan and Mia. There's another layer, a subplot that's going to add some spice to this hashtag heartwarming story. Let's introduce Sarah, Mia's best friend, who's got a knack for turning small moments into big deals. Sarah's a social media manager, always glued to her phone, always chasing the next viral trend. She's the one who notices Mia's distracted mood the day after the train incident and pries the story out of her over coffee. When Mia casually mentions the guy who gave up his seat, Sarah's eyes light up. That's it, she says, already typing hashtag train love story into her phone. This is the kind of thing people eat up online. Before Mia can stop her, Sarah's posting about it on X, spinning a quick, anonymous version of the story. My friend had the cute moment on the subway today. A guy gave up his seat for her, and you could feel the sparks. Is this the start of a NYC love story? Hashtag viral moment, hashtag romantic vibes. The post starts getting likes, retweets, and comments from strangers speculating about who the guy was and whether they'll meet again. Mia's mortified. She's a private person, not someone who wants her life splashed across the internet. But Sarah's convinced this is fate, and she's determined to track down the mystery guy. This subplot adds a new question to our mystery. Will Sarah's meddling bring Ethan and Mia back together, or will it complicate things in ways they never expected? Meanwhile, Ethan's got his own side story brewing, and it's adding another layer of intrigue. Remember Jake, His best friend? Well, Jake's not just a side character. He's got his own drama that's about to intersect with Ethan's life in a big way. Jake runs a small coffee shop in Brooklyn, the kind of place with mismatched furniture and live music on weekends. It's struggling to stay afloat, and Jake's been leaning on Ethan for help. Not just with money, but with ideas to bring in more customers. Ethan's been designing flyers and social media graphics for the shop, but the tension from their recent fight is still hanging in the air. The day after the train incident, Ethan stops by the coffee shop to patch things up, but he's distracted, still thinking about the woman from the subway. Jake notices and calls him out. "Dude, you're acting like you just met the love of your life or something." Ethan laughs it off, but Jake's words stick with him. What if there's more to this moment than he's letting himself believe? And here's where things get really juicy. Jake's coffee shop is about to become a key piece of this puzzle, a place where paths might cross again in ways that'll make your jaw drop. I'm not going to tell you how just yet, but let's just say this little shop is more than it seems, and it's going to add a twist to this hashtag feel-good moment that's got everyone talking. Let's talk about the bigger picture for a second, because I want you to feel how this story's resonating with people like you, watching this video right now. You're probably here because you love those hashtag life-changing moments that feel like they're straight out of a movie, right? You're scrolling through YouTube, looking for something to make you smile, maybe even inspire you. And this story's got that in spades. It's not just about Ethan and Mia, it's about all of us, about the moments that catch us off guard and make us believe in something bigger. On platforms like X, people are sharing their own stories of random acts of kindness, tagging them with hashtag serendipity stories and hashtag kindness matters, because this story's tapping into something universal. It's reminding us that even in a city as big and busy as New York, where everyone's rushing to the next thing, there's still room for connection, for hope, for those little sparks that make life feel magical. And I know you're feeling it too, because you're still here, still listening, still wondering what's going to happen when Ethan and Mia's paths cross again. So let me make you a promise. Stick with me, and I'll take you through every twist, every turn, every moment that's making this story go viral. Now, let's add another layer of mystery, because I know you're craving more. That morning on the train wasn't just a random moment for Mia. There's something she's not telling anyone, not even Sarah. It's not just about her breakup with David. It's something deeper, something that's been weighing on her for years. Maybe it's a dream she gave up on, a promise she made to herself that she's never kept, or a piece of her past that she's been running from. Whatever it is, it's part of why that moment with Ethan hit her so hard. It wasn't just about the seat, it was about feeling seen, about someone cutting through the noise of her life and reminding her that she's more than just a teacher, a friend, a woman going through the motions. And Ethan? He's got his own secret too, something he hasn't even told Jake. It's not something big and dramatic like a hidden fortune or a secret identity. It's something small, personal, something that makes him question whether he's ready for whatever this moment with Mia might mean. These secrets are like threads weaving through the story, pulling us deeper into their lives, and I'm not going to unravel them just yet. But I promise you, when you find out what they're hiding, it's going to make this hashtag train love story even more unforgettable. Let's zoom out and talk about the city itself, because New York's not just a backdrop, it's practically a character in this story. If you've ever been to NYC, you know it's a place of contradictions. It's loud and chaotic, but it's also full of quiet moments that catch you by surprise. It's a city where you can feel alone in a crowd of millions, but also where a single glance, a single act of kindness, can make you feel like you're part of something bigger. That's what's happening here, on that subway, in that coffee shop, in the lives of Ethan and Mia. The city's pushing them together, pulling them apart, and setting the stage for moments that feel like they were meant to be. And it's not just about them, there's a whole cast of characters in the background, like the street musician playing a soulful tune outside Jake's coffee shop, or the old man on the train who saw Ethan give up his seat and smiled like he knew something they didn't. These little details are what make this story feel so real, so alive, and they're why people are calling it a hashtag viral moment that's capturing hearts everywhere. I want to connect with you again, because I know you're watching this and thinking about your own life. Maybe you've had a moment like Ethan and Mia's, where a stranger made you feel something you couldn't explain. Maybe you've wondered about the what-ifs, the could-have-beens, the moments that slipped through your fingers. That's what makes this story so special. It's not just about them, it's about all of us. It's about the chances we take, the connections we make, the moments that change us when we least expect it. And I know you're dying to know what happens next, because I am too. Will Ethan and Mia find each other again? Will Sarah's social media post bring them together or tear them apart? And what's the deal with Jake's coffee shop? Why does it feel like the key to this whole mystery? I'm not going to give you the answers yet, because we're building the tension, layering in the intrigue, and making sure you're hooked for the next part. But I promise you, what's coming is going to make your heart race, maybe even make you tear up, and definitely leave you wanting more. Here's where we're going to pause, because I can feel your anticipation, and I'm not going to spoil the big moments just yet. Ethan's about to make a choice that could change everything, and Mia's about to stumble into a situation that'll make her question everything she thought she knew about herself. There's a moment coming, maybe in that coffee shop, maybe somewhere else in this sprawling city, that's going to bring them face to face again, and when it happens, it's going to be electric. But what's the secret they're both hiding? And what's the twist that's got people on X and TikTok buzzing with hashtag romantic vibes and hashtag serendipity stories? You're going to have to keep watching to find out. So, hit that like button, drop a comment with your own hashtag train love story moment, and let's keep this journey going together. Because trust me, the next part of this story is going to leave you speechless. Alright my friends, you're still with me, and I can feel your excitement building as we dive deeper into He gave up his seat for her on the train, and took a place in her heart. We left Ethan and Mia on the edge of something big, their lives brushing against each other in a way that feels like fate, but with secrets and subplots swirling around them, keeping us guessing. You're probably itching to know how their paths cross again, what those secrets are, and why this story's got everyone on TikTok and X buzzing with hashtags like hashtag viral love, hashtag train love story, and hashtag serendipity stories. I'm about to crank up the tension, throw in a twist that'll make your jaw drop, and push this story toward its heart-pounding climax, without giving away the ending just yet. We're going to dig deeper into Sarah's meddling, Jake's coffee shop drama, and a new development that changes everything. So, settle in, because this is where things get wild, and I'm not letting you go until you're on the edge of your seat, craving the next part of this hashtag heartwarming story. Let's pick up with Ethan, who's still reeling from that moment on the train a few days ago. He's back in his routine, sketching designs on his laptop in his cramped apartment, but his mind keeps drifting to Mia. The way her eyes lit up when she said thank you, the way she seemed to carry a weight he couldn't quite place. He's not a romantic, not by a long shot, but something about that moment has him second-guessing his usual cynicism. He's even started taking the same train at the same time every morning, hoping to catch another glimpse of her, though he'd never admit it to Jake. Speaking of Jake, their friendship's still on shaky ground. And Ethan's been pouring extra energy into helping with the coffee shop, designing new menus and posters to draw in customers. But here's where things take a turn. One afternoon, while Ethan's at the shop tweaking a flyer, Jake gets a call that changes everything. It's from a local event planner who wants to host a pop-up art show at the coffee shop. A chance to showcase local artists and bring in a crowd. It's the kind of opportunity that could save the shop from going under, but there's a catch. The planner needs a commitment by the end of the week, and Jake's not sure he can pull it off with the shop's finances in such bad shape. Ethan, desperate to help his friend and maybe distract himself from his thoughts about Mia, volunteers to take on the design work for the event, pro bono. What he doesn't know is that this art show is about to become the stage for something much bigger. A moment that'll bring him face to face with the woman he can't stop thinking about, in a way he never could have predicted. Meanwhile, Mia's life is getting more complicated by the minute. Sarah's ex-post about the subway guy has gone viral, racking up thousands of likes and retweets, with people speculating about whether this is the start of a hashtag romantic vibes love story or just a fleeting moment. Mia's mortified, begging Sarah to take it down, but Sarah's loving the attention, convinced it's only a matter of time before the mystery guy sees the post and comes looking for her friend. Mia's trying to focus on her students, grading papers and planning lessons, but she's distracted, not just by the viral post but by the memory of Ethan's kindness. That moment on the train keeps replaying in her mind, and it's stirring up feelings she's not ready to face. Here's where we deepen the mystery. Mia's secret, the one she's been keeping even from Sarah, isn't just about her breakup with David. It's about a letter she's been carrying in her bag for weeks, a letter she wrote to herself years ago as part of a therapy exercise, promising to chase a dream she's since buried. She's been too scared to open it, too scared to confront the person she used to be, but something about Ethan's gesture has her thinking about it again. She's starting to wonder if that moment on the train was a sign, a nudge from the universe to stop running from her past. And just when she's starting to lean into that idea, Sarah drops a bombshell. She's found a clue about the subway guy. Someone on X replied to her post, claiming they know a guy who matches the description and hangs out at a certain Brooklyn coffee shop. Mia's heart skips a beat, but she's torn. Does she follow this lead and risk making a fool of herself, or does she let it go and pretend it never happened? This decision is about to push her into uncharted territory, and it's going to raise the stakes in ways she never saw coming. Now let's throw in that unexpected twist, because I promised you something that'll make your jaw drop. While Ethan's working on the art show designs at Jake's coffee shop, he stumbles across something that stops him in his tracks. Tucked into a stack of old flyers on the counter is a sketch, not one of his, but something hand-drawn, delicate, and hauntingly beautiful. A pencil drawing of a subway platform, with a figure that looks eerily like him standing by a pole. The sketch isn't signed, but there's a note scrawled on the back. To the guy who gave up his seat, you made my day. Ethan's heart races as he reads it, his mind spinning with questions. Did Mia leave this here? How did it end up in Jake's shop? And why does it feel like the universe is playing a game with him? He shows the sketch to Jake, who's just as baffled but brushes it off as a coincidence, saying maybe one of the regulars left it behind. But Ethan's not so sure. He's starting to feel like there's something bigger at play, something that's pulling him and Mia together in ways he can't explain. This sketch is our first big clue, a piece of the #Fate Moments puzzle that's got people on social media buzzing, and it's about to set off a chain of events that'll bring Ethan and Mia closer to a collision course, but not without some serious complications. Let's zoom in on Sarah's subplot, because her meddling is about to crank up the drama. Sarah's not just content with her viral X post. She's turned into a full-on detective, scouring social media for any sign of the subway guy. She's been messaging people who commented on her post, trying to piece together clues, and she's convinced the coffee shop lead is the key. She drags Mia to Brooklyn one evening, insisting they check out Jake's coffee shop, which she's learned is called The Daily Grind. Mia's reluctant. She's not the type to chase a stranger based on a hunch, but Sarah's enthusiasm is infectious, and deep down, Mia's curious. When they walk into the shop, it's buzzing with its usual crowd. Hipsters sipping lattes, a guitarist strumming in the corner, and Jake behind the counter, juggling orders. Ethan's not there, but Mia feels a strange sense of familiarity, like she's been here before, even though she hasn't. Sarah's scanning the room, whispering about how they need to ask around for the guy in the leather jacket, but Mia's distracted by a bulletin board near the counter, covered in flyers and notes. And there, pinned among the ads for yoga classes and open mic nights, is a sketch that looks exactly like the one Ethan found. The same subway platform, the same figure, the same note on the back. Mia freezes, her breath catching in her throat. How is this possible? Did someone else see their moment on the train? Or is there something more going on, something that ties this coffee shop to their story in ways they can't yet understand? This discovery is about to send Mia down a rabbit hole, and it's going to make her question everything she thought she knew about that morning. Let's talk about Jake for a moment, because his coffee shop is becoming the beating heart of this story, and his own drama is adding another layer of tension. Jake's been struggling to keep the daily grind afloat, dealing with rising rent and a landlord who's threatening to sell the space if he doesn't turn things around. The art show could be his lifeline, but it's also a massive risk. He's sinking every penny he has into it, and if it flops, he's done. Ethan's been his rock, but Jake's starting to notice his friend's distraction, the way he keeps glancing at the door like he's expecting someone. When Ethan shows him the sketch, Jake's first instinct is to laugh it off, but he's got his own suspicions. He's seen enough quirky characters come through the shop to know that strange things happen here. People leave notes, drawings, even love letters pinned to the bulletin board, hoping they'll be found. But this sketch feels different, like it's part of something bigger. Jake's not telling Ethan everything though. He's got a secret of his own, not about the sketch, but about a decision he's made about the shop that could change everything for him and Ethan. This secret is going to add another twist to our #viral moment, and it's going to make you wonder how all these pieces fit together. I want to pull you back into the bigger picture, because I know you're watching this and feeling the same rush I am. You're here for those #life-changing moments, those stories that make you believe in love, fate, and the magic of everyday life. This story's blowing up on platforms like X and TikTok because it's hitting that sweet spot. People are sharing their own #KindnessMatters stories, talking about moments when a stranger changed their day, or even their life. And you're part of this too, because you're invested, you're rooting for Ethan and Mia, and you're dying to know what that sketch means and how it ended up in the coffee shop. I get it, because I'm right there with you, caught up in the suspense, the romance, the mystery. This story's not just about two strangers on a train, it's about all of us, about the moments that make us feel alive, the chances we take, the connections we chase. And I know you're thinking about your own life right now, maybe a time when you felt a spark with someone, or a moment when you wondered if the universe was trying to tell you something. That's what makes this story so special. And I'm not going to let you down. I'm going to keep you hooked with every twist and turn. Here's where we're going to ramp up the stakes even more. Because that sketch isn't the only surprise waiting for Ethan and Mia. As Mia stands in front of the bulletin board, staring at the drawing, she notices something else. A flyer for the upcoming art show at the Daily Grind. It's one of Ethan's designs, bold and eye-catching, with his signature style all over it. She doesn't know it's his, of course, but there's something about it that pulls her in, like a thread connecting her to that moment on the train. She decides, against her better judgment, to come back for the art show, telling herself it's just curiosity, not hope. Meanwhile, Ethan's throwing himself into the event, working late nights to make sure every detail is perfect, but he's also keeping an eye out for the woman from the train. He's starting to wonder if the sketch is a sign, a clue that she's closer than he thinks. And here's the kicker. There's someone else watching this story unfold, someone who saw Ethan give up his seat that morning, someone who's been quietly keeping tabs on both of them. Who is this person? What do they know? And why are they leaving sketches in places where Ethan and Mia are bound to find them? This new perspective adds a whole new layer of intrigue, and it's going to make you question everything you thought you knew about this #train love story. I'm going to leave you hanging here, because I can feel your anticipation, and I'm not going to spoil the climax just yet. Ethan and Mia are on a collision course, and the art show at the Daily Grind is about to be the stage for a moment that'll change everything. But whose sketch is it? What's the secret Jake's hiding about the coffee shop? And who's the mysterious figure watching from the shadows, pulling strings to bring these two together, or maybe to keep them apart? You're going to have to keep watching to find out, because the next part of this story is going to be electric, emotional, and absolutely unforgettable. So, smash that like button, drop a comment with your guess about who's behind the sketch, and let's keep this #viral love journey going together. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Alright, you've stuck with me through every twist and turn, and I can feel your anticipation buzzing as we dive into the final chapter of He Gave Up His Seat for Her on the Train, and took a place in her heart. We left Ethan and Mia on the brink of something massive, with the mysterious sketch, Sarah's viral X post, and Jake's coffee shop setting the stage for a collision that's got everyone on TikTok and X talking with hashtags like #viral love, #train love story, and #serendipity stories. You're probably dying to know who's behind those sketches, what Jake's hiding about the Daily Grind, and whether Ethan and Mia will finally reconnect in a way that lives up to the hype. This is it, the climax, the resolution, and one final twist that'll leave you in awe. I'm going to tie up the loose ends, answer your burning questions, and deliver a #heartwarming story that'll stick with you long after this video ends. So grab a tissue, get comfy, and let's bring this journey to a close together, because this is where everything comes full circle, and I promise you, it's going to be unforgettable. The night of the art show at the Daily Grind has arrived, and the coffee shop is alive with energy. Fairy lights are strung across the ceiling, local artists' work lines the walls, and a crowd of Brooklyn locals sips wine and chats over the strum of an acoustic guitar. Ethan's there, nervously adjusting a poster he designed, his eyes darting to the door every few minutes. He's still clutching the mysterious sketch he found, the one with the note that says, "To the guy who gave up his seat, you made my day." He's convinced it's from Mia, but he's also terrified he's reading too much into it. Jake's behind the counter, pouring drinks and charming the crowd, but there's a tension in his smile. Ethan can tell something's off, like Jake's carrying a weight he's not ready to share. Meanwhile, Mia's on her way, dragged by Sarah, who's practically bouncing with excitement, convinced tonight's the night her friend will find the subway guy. Mia's a bundle of nerves, clutching her bag, where that unopened letter to herself still sits, a reminder of the dream she's been too scared to chase. She's not sure what she's hoping for. Maybe just closure, maybe something more. But when she steps into the Daily Grind and sees the same sketch from the bulletin board framed on the wall, her heart stops. It's not just a coincidence anymore. It's a sign, and she's about to find out what it means. The air is thick with anticipation, and as Ethan turns from the poster and locks eyes with Mia across the crowded room, time seems to freeze. It's the moment you've been waiting for, the one that's got people tagging this story with #romantic vibes and #fate moments, and it's about to change everything. Let's dive into the climax, because this reunion is anything but simple. Ethan and Mia approach each other, hesitant, like they're both afraid to break the spell. "You're the guy from the train," Mia says, her voice barely above a whisper, and Ethan nods, a shy smile spreading across his face. "And you're the one who took my seat," he replies, trying to keep it light, but his eyes betray the weight of the moment. They start talking, awkward at first, stumbling over words as they try to make sense of how they ended up here. Mia mentions the sketch, and Ethan pulls it from his pocket, showing her the note. Her eyes widen. She didn't draw it. I thought you left it, she says, and now they're both confused, looking around the shop as if the answer's hiding in the crowd. That's when Jake steps in, overhearing their conversation, and drops a bombshell. The sketch was left by an older woman who's a regular at the shop, someone who's been coming to the daily grind for years, always sketching in a corner booth. Her name's Clara, and she was on the train that morning, watching Ethan give up his seat. She'd seen the spark between them, the way their eyes lingered, and decided to play a little matchmaker, leaving sketches at the shop with notes to nudge them together. Clara's not here tonight. She's been sick, Jake explains, which is why she hasn't been around, but her sketches have become the thread tying Ethan and Mia's story together. This revelation hits like a lightning bolt, and suddenly, the hashtag life-changing moments hashtag makes perfect sense. It's not just about their connection. It's about a stranger's quiet act of kindness, weaving their lives together in a way that feels like fate. Now, let's resolve the main conflicts, because you deserve to know how Ethan and Mia's story comes together. As they talk, the awkwardness melts away, and they start opening up. Mia tells Ethan about her life as a teacher, her struggles to keep going after her breakup, and, hesitantly, about the letter in her bag. She admits it's a promise she made to herself to pursue writing, a dream she's buried under years of practicality. Ethan listens, really listens, and shares his own struggles. His doubts about his career, his fear of failing Jake, and the way that moment on the train gave him a flicker of hope he hasn't felt in a long time. There's a raw honesty between them, a connection that feels deeper than a chance encounter. They decide to honor Clara's gesture by promising to meet again, not just as strangers from a train, but as two people ready to take a chance on something new. It's not a fairy tale ending. They're not confessing undying love or running off into the sunset, but it's real, it's hopeful, and it's the start of something that could be beautiful. The crowd around them fades, the art show hums on, and for the first time, both Ethan and Mia feel like they're exactly where they're meant to be, ready to face their fears and chase their dreams together. This resolution is why people are calling this a hashtag kindness matters story. It's about how one small act, from Ethan's seat to Clara's sketches, can ripple out and change lives. Let's wrap up the subplots, because Sarah and Jake deserve their moments too. Sarah's over the moon, snapping pictures of the art show and posting them with hashtag train love story, already planning how she'll spin this into the next viral sensation. But she sees how happy Mia is, and for once, she decides to let the moment be, promising to keep her friend's privacy first. She's learned something from this. Sometimes, the best stories don't need to be shared with the world, they just need to be lived. Jake, meanwhile, reveals his secret to Ethan after the show. He's been negotiating with a buyer for the daily grind, someone who wants to turn it into a chain but keep its soul. It's a risky move, but the art show's success has given him the confidence to take the leap, and he thanks Ethan for sticking by him. The shop's not out of the woods yet, but there's hope, and Jake's starting to believe he can make it work. These resolutions tie up the loose ends, giving you that satisfying feeling of closure while keeping the story grounded in real, human emotions that make it a hashtag feel-good moment. Now, here's the final twist, because I promised you something that'll leave you in awe. As Ethan and Mia leave the coffee shop together, laughing and promising to grab coffee soon, they pass by Clara's usual booth. There, tucked into the seat, is one last sketch, left as if she knew they'd find it. It's a drawing of them, not on the train, but standing together at the art show, smiling, their hands brushing. The note on the back reads, "Sometimes, you don't just give up a seat, you give someone a chance." Ethan and Mia stare at it, speechless, realizing Clara's been watching them all along, not just as a matchmaker, but as someone who believes in the power of human connection. How did she know they'd be here tonight? How did she capture this moment before it even happened? It's a mystery they'll never fully solve, but it's the final spark that makes them believe in something bigger. Fate, serendipity, or maybe just the magic of people seeing each other in a crowded world. This twist is what's got people on X and TikTok buzzing with hashtag viral moment, because it's a reminder that sometimes, the universe works in ways we can't explain. I want to bring this home for you, because you've been with me through this whole journey, and I know you're feeling the same emotions I am. This story's not just about Ethan and Mia, it's about all of us, about the moments that catch us off guard, the kindness that changes us, the chances we take when we dare to believe in something more. You're watching this because you love those hashtag life-changing moments, the stories that make you laugh, cry, and believe in the good in the world. And I bet you're thinking about your own life right now. Maybe a time when someone's kindness made your day, Or a moment when you felt the universe nudging you toward something new. That's the takeaway here. Life is full of these moments, and sometimes, all it takes is giving up a seat, leaving a sketch, or saying yes to a chance to change everything. Ethan and Mia's story is proof that even in a city as big as New York, where everyone's rushing past each other, there's still room for connection, for hope, for love. And Clara? She's the unsung hero, the reminder that we all have the power to make a difference, even in the smallest ways. So, as we wrap up this #train love story, I want to leave you with this. Go out there and notice the people around you. Give up a seat, smile at a stranger, leave a kind note. You never know how it might change someone's life, or even your own. This story's gone viral because it's real, it's raw, and it's what we all need right now. A reminder that kindness matters, that love is possible, and that sometimes the universe has a way of working things out. Thank you for joining me on this journey, for rooting for Ethan and Mia, and for believing in the magic of #serendipity stories. Hit that subscribe button, drop a comment with your own story of a moment that changed you, and let's keep spreading these #feel-good moments together. Because trust me, there's more where this came from, and I can't wait to share the next story with you.